Sometimes it takes about 10 seconds for things to get going. In today's video, if you're a son of the Most High, an apex male, or an unconventionally refined gentleman, I'm here to tell you that you get to live and enjoy a fulfilling, satisfying, and righteous sex life. This is something that the Christian community is not talking about. I'm seeing a couple videos here and there popping up, but they are infused with a moralistic, degrading, feminist perspective on righteous masculine sexuality. So if you're interested in a perspective that's based on geopolitical Christianity, on righteousness based on apex human awakening, stay tuned to the very end. This is one in a 6-video series that's discussing what sovereign sexuality looks like for the sons of God. I'm making this video because of the shame that I felt for having very high standards when it came to dealing with females in a sexual way. Yes, I have proclivities that are outside of the norm, and I accept those, and God is working with me in that regard. However, my buddies, my friends were whacking out females left and right. And I was having very strict standards, and every time we would talk about our sex lives, I would be like, yeah, it's a process, and I'm waiting, and this and that, because I just didn't find females that I felt were eligible for the time, the affection, the attention, and the intimacy that I hold extremely dear to myself. I don't like to share that with people who I don't feel are worthy of it. And so I would, in a lot of people's minds, have a feminine kind of sexuality because, I'm very selective and I only deal with certain women. And if I do deal with women, there's like certain parameters. And I really, really am happy to turn away someone that every other guy will rush to have, that a guy will lose his job and his family for. I'm happy to walk away from her without even thinking of her existence ever again. And so, unfortunately, most men lack a sovereign sexuality, a sexual sovereignty based upon their uh, connection to God. And that's because a lot of men don't have a connection to God. But before I get into it, make sure you get Hey God, Wake the Fuck Up. It is the best book ever written since the Bible. That's just my little plug for my book. All right. So, sovereign male sexuality, sovereign sexuality for men, masculine sovereignty in the sexual game is not what you think. It's not moralistic. It's not self-castrating stuff that you hear in a lot of the red pill community or even the Christian right and things like that. It's not asceticism. It's not abstinence. It's not any of that. It's something you'd never imagine. So if you're interested, like, share, subscribe, comment below. This video is going to be placed out on my channel, and so you'll be able to find it later. It'll just be called Part 1 in relation to male sexuality. So there are 2 deadly habits that are trapping and destroying men today. But these are not what you think. Make sure you watch to the end of the series to see what those 2 things are and how you can overcome them. All right? So I've noticed there are a lot of people that are awakening to their apex human awakening. So if you're one of them, make sure you like, share, subscribe, like, share, comment below. And don't waste your time by watching this video if it's not for you. But if you are watching, you are getting something out of it, make sure you like, share, subscribe, comment below. Share it with like-minded apex men, refined, unique, unconventional gentlemen, and sons of God. Make sure you do that. All right? So I'm going to get right into it. Today I'm talking about something that no Christians or religious people want to talk about. Like I said, this is a 6-video series. This is the first video, and it's called What is Sexual Sovereignty for Men? Sexual sovereignty for the sons of the Most High, or apex males, is what I'm going to be talking about today. The verses that we're starting off with is there are 2 verses. One is 1 Thessalonians 4, 3 through 5, and the second is Timothy 2, verse 22 through 26. I'll be highlighting one section in these 2 verses that really speaks to sovereign sexuality for the sons of God. I did my doctorate researching this topic, studying sexuality, spirituality, and selfhood for Christian individuals. I was going to study that in Satanism because I was looking for a religion. Hey, Two-Doodles, you're back. Yeah, you are kind of early. I'm going to try and keep this one short, Two-Doodles, and I always appreciate your coming out. This one is Let me know if you're a guy or girl. I get the impression you might be a guy, based on what I can remember from our conversations. But in this one, I'm talking about sovereign sexuality. I'm going to try and keep it under 15 minutes. So in this video, like I said, I studied sexuality for young adult Christians and how their relationship with God was impacted by the rigidity that was placed on their sexual expression, and how they oh yeah, cool, I'm glad you're a dude. If you're a woman, that'd be fine. You might have to go somewhere else for this video, but this is talking about sexuality for God's sons. um, and a lot of the conversation around sexuality, sovereign sexuality for the sons of God, has been feminine based and feminist based. It's been about castrating men, about telling them to be aesthetic, about telling them not to have sex before marriage, which I think is destructive, it is satanic, and it is unrighteous. It is moral in a lot of ways, but it's unrighteous. And so in this video, I'm going to get into that. And I'm going to talk about what the Bible actually says about righteous sexuality for the sons of God. And it does seem to be speaking specifically to men in these two instances. It's not talking to women, because women's sexuality is a whole nother discussion as it pertains to apex humanity and geopolitical Christianity. So let's talk about 1 Thessalonians 4, 3 through 5. I'm just read the Revised Standard Version. For this for this is the will of God, your sanctification, that you abstain from unchastity, that each of you know how to take a wife for himself in holiness and honor, not in the passion of lusts like the heathen who do not know God. Now, the point that I want to highlight is that every one of you should know how to take a wife for himself. Now, there are two different ways that this is understood, because the word there is a vessel. Guard his vessel. And the word vessel was a euphemism for a woman, because it was like women were things used by men in the ancient Greco-Roman world. And so the word vessel was a euphemism for woman. This would be really politically incorrect now, but I am convinced that this verse is talking about symbolically about how you care for your body, because in the King James Version, it says that every one of you should know how to possess his vessel in sanctification and honor. It does not mention a wife. So it's talking about how you take care of your body, and probably most specifically the male aspect of your body as a man. And then we're going to go to 2 Timothy 2:22. So it's 2:2:2:2. Timothy 2:2:2 is a very important verse. It says, flee from youthful lusts, but follow righteousness, faith, charity, peace, and that with them that call on the Lord out of a pure heart. So it's talking about sanctifying your body, uh, going away from lusts, and we're going to talk about that later on. The youthful passions. It also talks about avoiding stupid, senseless conversations. Timothy 2, 22 through 26 is essential for the sons of God. Stupid conversations, fighting, quarrels, that's for women. That's for females. That's not for men. It's like you never quarrel with a woman. You never argue with a woman, because we're outgunned in that area. So if a woman comes with some stupid, senseless stuff, you just let her talk for a while. Maintain your composure as a man, as a masculine man. And when she's done talking her stupid shit, you just say what's true, even if it discredits everything she says, and you move on with your life. That's how women appreciate, respect, and honor you as a man. If you go along with everything she says and follow the feminist ideology and become a feminine male, she'll castrate you and destroy you. And I mean spiritually, financially, socially castrate you. I've known men who treat women like trash according to what we've been taught. And those women will never talk bad about those men. They respect them and they honor them, even though in the quietness and the silence, they'll say, oh, I really wish he had treated me better. They will respect those men because those men are sovereign. So this is how you get your sovereignty back in this video. So what is sexual sovereignty to a son of the Most High, to an unconventional refined gentleman, to an apex male? Sexual sovereignty is sexual satisfaction. It is sexual gratification. It is sexual fulfillment and sexual righteousness. Sexual sovereignty is sanity that is enjoyed by apex men who are sons of the Most High. Look at King Solomon. Look at King David. These men had insane numbers of female partners, according to the story. Now, it was not all, fun and games. It wasn't all marshmallows and rainbows. It was they were dealing with women. And throughout the books that are attributed to David and Solomon, you see them constantly say, there's nothing worse than a quarrelsome wife. I mean, Ecclesiastes probably says it 30 times. I mean, probably exaggerating, but it says it a lot. There's nothing worse than a quarrelsome wife. We also get the wisdom that how to find a good wife from these two men who had David. I mean, Solomon is said to have had like hundreds of wives and hundreds of concubines. David as well. And David had a lot of women, a lot of wives, actually, multiple wives, from Abigail to Bathsheba to all the others. All right. So, what does sexual sovereignty look like for the sons of God? Sexual unions that add mental, emotional, physical, and spiritually to the life of the apex male. So, if you're with a female and you feel drained after having intercourse with her, like emotionally, spiritually drained, that is your body, that is God telling you there's something off about that interaction. So perhaps have a conversation, perhaps get some counseling if this person is actually valuable to you. But your sexual union with a female should provide emotional, mental, physical, and spiritual, like it should fill you up with energy. Afterwards, you should feel like you could run a marathon. You shouldn't feel drained. And I can tell you, there have been interactions that I've had with women where afterwards I could stay up all night. I could go write a book. I could do a bunch of things. And there have been sexual interactions that, it was like I was drained for 2 or 3 days. So it depended on the personality, it depended on the interaction. So you should be enriched by your sexual interaction. That is sexual sovereignty for the male. Sexual interactions are pleasurable, fulfilling, purposeful, and enriching for the sons of God. If you're not having a pleasurable, fulfilling, purposeful, and enriching sexual experience with a woman that you're with, that's an indication that you are aligning with the lifestyle of those who are not the sons of God, those who are losers, big quotes around that, because it's just not nice to call a person a loser, but we've all been losers. I've been a loser. All of us have been losers at some point in our lives, but we can overcome that with the righteousness of God. Sexual relationships for the sons of God are harmonious, beneficial, and uplifting. Like I said earlier, if you're engaging with, and by the way, when I say sexual interaction, I'm not talking about intercourse only. I'm also talking about intimacy without any type of intercourse or conversations. Anytime there's a romantic union formed with you and a female, hopefully she's an apex female, a daughter of the Most High. But if she's not, take that into account. So sexual relationships doesn't just mean intercourse or sleeping with someone. And I hate that term, sleeping with someone. It should say having sex with someone, intercourse with someone. But sexual relationships should be harmonious, beneficial, and uplifting. Again, you should feel like your life is enhanced after the experience or within that relationship. Also, sexual unions that are for the sons of God that are sovereign align with God's best authentic path for you. They're not based on churchy moralism. They're not based on feminist cancer of the brain. They're not based on the lies of society. They are based on God's best authentic path for you. And finally, the sovereign sexuality for the sons of God are based on pleasure, prosperity, productivity, purpose, purity, peace, and power. These relationships, these connections, these interactions should increase the pleasure, prosperity, productivity, purpose, purity, peace, and power in your life and circumstances. If you're with a woman and it's just pleasurable in the bed, but your finances are not improving and you're not taking charge in your life, you don't feel encouraged to do that, you don't have productivity or prosperity, then that's not a sexually sovereign relationship for you. I was with a woman who I would lose off the bat in the morning 4 hours of conversation. And I started to time it, and I noticed that I was not making the money I wanted to make because I was losing time getting out and getting it and making the money. I would literally lose 4 hours. I was looking at the phone, and I was like, wow. I talked to her for 1 hour here, and then I got out in the car and I called her and talked for another hour here. And before 11 o'clock, I lost 4 hours of my life texting and calling. That is destructive to your life as a son of God. Sons of God live prosperous, productive, purposeful, pure, peaceful, and powerful lives. And so that is what sexual sovereignty looks like for the sons of the Most High. Thanks for watching. We are actually at 15 minutes. That is excellent. Thank you to Duels for showing up. And like I said, make sure if you're watching this, you're dropping a like in the comment section below. And I will see you in the next video. In the next video, we're going to talk about why adult males lack a sexual sovereignty and how society has gotten so many men to that point. And again, never shame yourself or doubt yourself because you don't have the numbers of sexual partners that your friends have or that society is pushing on you. As a man, sexual sovereignty does not mean that you have a million partners or even a lot of partners. Like, it just means that your sexual life reflects what is satisfying, fulfilling, and righteous for God's plan in your life. You're an individual, you have an individual walk with God, and that really matters. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, comment below.